Hello there, it is Tyler here, and we're going to jump back into doing some presets here. I know it's been a while, but I had a minute, so I thought I'd put another one together here to put into the pack we've been working on. So we've got this sound here, which is kind of like a Jupiter brass sort of sound. And you can play it like a chord, or you can play like a more arpeggio sort of thing as well, and there's nothing too amazingly complex going on here, but I think it's kind of a fun sound, kind of in the vein of emulating another synthesizer with Sytrus, even though it's not doing the same thing really, but the sound is perfectly usable. So let's jump back and dissect what I did here. I will disable all but one oscillator, and I'll actually disable the filter as well, and we'll just go through what everything's doing. So oscillator 1 going into the filter, and actually everything going into the filter is going to have our volume envelope, little bit of attack, and then some decay down to about half the volume for sustain. This is just a saw wave. I did offset the phase a little bit in the oscillator section here, and I did do a little bit of phase randomness as well, just a tiny bit so that it moves around with the other oscillators. And it's actually just one unison voice. There's no unison detuning or anything, which later on we get that from a chorus from the effects, but for now, moving on to the next oscillator, if we bring that in, it's a slightly different sawtooth wave here. Just a few little tweaks on the shape and tension to make it not exactly the same shape. And it's also at a slightly different frequency ratio here. Similar phase randomness, and also a tiny bit of a pitch LFO, very tiny. Just 1%, you can't even see it on here because it just adds a little bit of detune movement without actually using the unison, even though this is kind of what unison is doing in a slightly different way. But I also used the pitch envelope amount to turn that down so that this LFO is even less pitch modulation that's happening. So it's just super subtle. And oscillator 3, this one is just a noise oscillator. It's not actually using the sine wave. It says it's up an octave, but it's literally just used for the noise. We have that turned up here to 100%, so that's all we got. And then putting that with the other ones, we have a little bit of a dirty sound with that noise, as well as a few detuned oscillators. And then when we go over to the filter and turn that on, we have a filter sweep on an envelope, relatively slow attack, and this filter is a low pass 3, a mango low pass, so slightly different, a little bit of drive on there as well with some resonance. That can just be tuned to your own taste, but it works plenty well. And then in the effects, we have some chorus turned on, a little bit of adjusting on the volume, a reverb turned on as well, and there is one delay at the top here, ping pong delay to widen it out just a bit, and bringing that back. We have this Jupiter-esque brass sound. And so I'll save this up and put it in with the other presets to be downloaded in the link in the description. I'll mention I will probably have some music coming out pretty soon, so check out for that. Maybe I'll put a link in the description for something like that too, but we'll keep working on this preset pack for Sytrus, and hopefully pretty soon we can get working on another synth as well, making some sounds there. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave a comment or anything like that. But for now, that should do it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.